welcome to my channel. My name is Faith, and today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about this vintage crochet pattern that I found. I was inspired to try a vintage crochet pattern by Just Vintage Crocheting here on YouTube. Love her channel, you guys should check out her videos. I wanted to see if I could follow a crochet vintage pattern myself. I've wanted to try a vintage knitting patterns before, but I've learned crochet first. I figured it'd be easier to get into vintage crochet and then work my way into vintage knitting. And I thought if I found a free pattern, I could try it. What's the harm? So I came across freevintagecrochet.com. I think there's also freevintageknitting.com, but they're both around the same. They have a plethora of pamphlets of patterns that you can get for free. So I found this Irish Morn Doily pattern. It was a pamphlet published by the Royal Society. I believe it was 1943. I was drawn to this particular pattern because it looked just like a doily my mom has. Just always wanted one for myself, but figured why not try it. I did, read through the pattern. I recognized all the crochet terms, so I thought I'll give it a go. I did also have this crochet thread I got from Hobby Lobby that was left over from another project. I thought this is what a perfect use of this crochet thread. The pattern does recommend a steel crochet hook number 12. I didn't have one of those and I decided to use what my crochet thread recommends, which is a 1.5mm crochet hook. Every time I use this, I just use what's recommended and it seems to be working for me. The pattern constructs this doily by making the doily and then you make that center rosette last and sew it on. I figured it would be fun to film the process of making that center rosette, since for me it was the most anticipated part because it's the end. We'll go ahead and get into the making of that center rosette now.
Okay, and here's the pattern we're working on. It's the Irish Morn Doily pattern. I wanted to show you guys how you make that center rosette, and here's where it'll go on my doily. And it still needs to be blocked, but we'll just set that aside for now. I'm using this crochet thread. I bought it at Hobby Lobby. I have the shade Ivory. Here's what the label looks like and a couple of the details about it. I'll just stick that back inside. I always keep it inside the center so I don't lose the label. I'm using a 1.5 crochet hook. That's just what my crochet thread recommended. I didn't have the recommended needle hook size that the pattern wanted. And the rosette is the last portion of this pattern, so it's on the second page. So to start this rosette off, it does want you to chain 10 and then join with a slip stitch to form the ring, and then round one chain 1, work 20 single crochet in the ring. I opted to do a magic ring. I just find that easier than doing the chain 10. So here I am just putting 20 single crochets in my magic ring, and then once I'm finished I'll close that ring up. And here I am just slowly pulling on the tail to close that ring. I don't want to pull it too tight just because when you pull it too tight it can be kind of hard to see where those single crochets are for the round 2, and that's what round 1 should look like when you're finished. Round 2 of the rosette is a chain 1, single crochet in the same place as slip stitch, chain 5, skip 3 single crochets, single crochet in the next single crochet. And that's what round 2 should look like. You should have 5 chain 5s that look like petals around. Round 3, in each loop that we just made, we are going to single crochet half double crochet, 5 double crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet. We are forming the first round of petals. And that's what one petal looks like. Looking pretty nice so far. And 4 more to go. And that's what round 3 looks like. You should have 5 little petals. Round 4 confused me a little bit. The pattern says chain 5, single crochet between single crochets of next 2 petals. And you'll see that I was confused as to whether those chain 5s go in front of the previous petals we made or in the back of the previous petals we made. So in the beginning I have the chain sitting in front, but I play around back and forth and then finally realized because of the way round 5 is made, they definitely go in the back. Not me double checking the picture to make sure what I'm doing is correct. And this is the end of round 4. As you can see, don't do what I just did and put the chains in the front. They definitely go in the back. I do realize later on that it doesn't really matter if you work the next petals on the front or the back, but they will eventually go in the back. And round 5, which is the final round, we're going to make petals again, which is what we did on round 3. So that's the single crochet, half double crochet. This time we're going to do 7 double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet. And you'll do that in each of the 5 chain 5s we did on the last round. Just like that, our rosette is finished. I'm just pulling that center magic ring string to the back. But yeah, you should have 5 inner petals, 5 outer petals. And let's go ahead and cut that string and fasten off. I'm gonna clear out some stuff. Go ahead and flip it to the first page just so we can get an idea of what the picture looks like. I tried a couple different things with placement. Didn't have any pins, so I tried using the stitch marker. I ended up sewing this on in a way that I wasn't happy with the way it was turning out. I was sewing it too far into the inner of the circle. So I ended up taking that out. And once I get the rosette sewn on, I gotta weave in all my ends. I weave them in probably not the best way. I wove them in a couple of different stitches and then I would tie them on, like tie them or fasten them off. And just like that, ends are woven in, and our doily is complete. Okay, now for blocking it, I'm using this wool wash, no rinse. Add just a little bit, agitate the water so it's bubbly, and just kind of mix it around. I'm using lukewarm water, and I'll let it sit. And then I'll take it out and put it on my blocking mat. I realized I'm definitely going to need my 4 blocking mats instead of just my 1. So I'm just setting that up now. And the pinning process did indeed take quite a while. And I am using this Faultless starch spray I bought from Walmart. I'm not sure if I should starch it once it's dry and once it's wet, but decided it couldn't hurt to do both. So here I am, just making sure it all looks pretty flat and symmetrical.
Okay, final thoughts on the Irish Morn doily pattern. This pattern was so much fun to make. I learned so much. Starts and endings of each round were a little bit confusing just because I didn't really know where they wanted us to start, but after I figured all that out, I will say I do recommend this pattern to anyone who wants to get into doily making. Here is my finished object after blocking, letting it dry with the starch. I did only starch it once. You could starch it twice, but that's if you only want it to be a little bit stiffer. Mine is drapey enough that I don't feel like I need to starch it again. Here's the front, and then here's the back. I absolutely love the way it turned out. I think it's a little bigger than I was anticipating. The pattern does say it will end up being 10 inches in diameter, but I guess in my head I thought that was smaller. The most challenging part for me was this middle part here, because I redid it twice. The first time I had missed one of these top loops. I just skipped right over one of the loops, and my count was off by the time I got to these petals. The second time I made it about halfway. I kept counting every round, and I still felt like my count was off, so I ended up ripping it back so I wouldn't get all the way to the end again and have to rip back even more. So I ripped back about halfway, redid it, 3rd time's the charm, my count was right. That part was probably the most challenging. My favorite part was doing from the petals up. I love doing the last edging. It was just so rewarding to know that you have this doily that's almost finished, and I'm so excited to block it that I just wanted to hurry up and get it done. But yeah, final thoughts, I do recommend it. If you would like to try to make this vintage doily yourself, I will leave the link to the pattern down below. That's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed watching this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support means everything. And until next time, bye for now.